all of these. You can always hit the plus symbol over to the side, which will take you into the all tabs. Some user permission levels will not have access to all these tabs, so all of them won't show up. But if you do have one in here that you want to show up across the top, you can always hit this customize my tabs, and then you can add that tab to your top toolbar. Again, the home button takes you back to this home screen. Staff calendar is going to take you to the calendar view. So then over on the left-hand side, there's some filters. You can filter by market segment, which is going to be office, product categories, which is the type of work, and then capabilities is going to be sales versus projects versus service. We don't really have that many teams in any market that I would necessarily recommend using the capabilities. Product you can do, but really if you just use this market one and filter on a certain market, then it'll show everybody in that market from a production standpoint. If you want to see which jobs are assigned to the Lafayette roof, you can click on that, and it will then show you which jobs are assigned to the Lafayette roof team, quote unquote team, if you will. So that's how we'd be able to get in, see the calendars. Prospects are technically any customers that have not done work with us yet. Once we do work, then they technically become customers, but if you click on this prospects tab, it will show you all of the different types. So you can see over here under status, target is somebody that we've not run an appointment for. Prospect means we've run an appointment, but we've not necessarily done any work for them. Customer means we've sold them some type of work, and they've now become a customer. Appointments is all of your appointments, not just yours, but I should say all appointments. You can see in here, all appointments not resulted. These are all of the essentially active jobs. Since we went live, we've got a lot of people that need to clean up a lot of their appointments. We're aware of one or two situations where somebody can't result their appointment, but other than that, we should be resulting all of our appointments. So if you see your name or one of your team members' names in here, you need to work with them on getting these appointments resulted. Quotes is going to be a list of all of our quotes, anything that we've proposed, if it's been accepted, it'll give you the status, rejected if they rejected it. Sales are going to be after somebody accepts a quote, it creates the sale. So we have these different drop-down list views here where you can see Indianapolis new sales, got quite a few new sales today, filtered down even more, looks like we've only got one sale from today. Projects is where most of the DMs, PMs will be living. This is going to give us all of our jobs that have been sold but haven't been PO'd yet. You can see Indy Masonry has 273 of them. A lot of these imported from Service CEO and just need to be slightly cleaned up in I-360 to get them to move on to the next tab. A lot of them are super old ones. The way we differentiated coming from Service CEO was if it had any type of product or service on the job, we assumed that it was a job that needed to be brought over. Unfortunately, a lot of people put products and services onto estimate appointments, even though they were $0 and they didn't have anything on them. If there was a product or service on there, it brought it over, and now it's sitting in this need PO status. So we need to go in and get all those cleaned up. Once we PO it, it will then move over to a status of meeting scheduled. Where you can see every market has projects needing PO'd, to where they can see which ones they need to be PO'd. On the projects, we create a project activity for install. And so here you can should see all the jobs that have been PO'd, but do not have a start date scheduled for their installation activity. As we go across from there, there's some dashboards, reports. We'll get into those in a bit, just in terms of a couple of different reports that you guys will be pulling and looking at, and how to get to those, and then how to interact with those. But at a high level, this search bar up here, you can search for a customer, you can search for an address, but if you only put in half of it, it will not return that. So if the last name is Smith and you put in SMI, it's not going to find Smith. So down here in search and create, you can search for those customers. The thing to remember here is that it's last name, then first name. So don't put their first name up here and their last name in here, because it won't find anything. But if you put in the last name here, we've got a test customer, Mike Victa. So I can type that in, I can hit go, or hit the enter key on my keyboard. That's then going to bring up my customer and any close matches. The more information you put in, the closer the match becomes and the less additional results you get. So I can take Mike out and search for just Ditka, and there's still only one. I can put DIT, probably too many. But if I put in the last name Smith, it'll bring up a ton of results for Smith. So many results that it's taking forever to load. So you can see all the Smiths that are in the system. So if I put in just Smith, it's going to bring up way too many results. So then if I can start to narrow it down with some additional information, then it'll bring up fewer results. So the more information you put in, the fewer results you get. But if you put in too much information and it doesn't match perfectly, like if I put in an address of 300 and I spelled out south, it probably wouldn't pull up this result right here, since this is just the letter S. So that's how we can search for a customer. Again, you can search up type too, and it'll bring up, if I search up top, it'll bring up a prospect. Again, that's the customer. Sales, so any sales that we have for the customer. Each sale will have a project, which is the actual installation piece of the sale. Sale is the revenue, project is the cost. Appointments, any appointments we ran, quotes, any quotes we gave. Lead source is how they have found out about us. And then marketing opportunities are just follow-up activities based off of the appointments that we did not sell. So, for the production managers and division managers, we'll go ahead and jump into how to schedule a job. So I'm going to show you guys from the meeting PO tab what the office managers are doing. So the sales rep will result the appointment as sold, and they will pull in their quote onto that sale. They're going to set which market and division the revenue goes to, and that's essentially then going to drop that project into this list. So I'm just going to grab one of these projects. I don't have an actual name. It's a big one. So we'll just take this one. This job, I open up the project by clicking under project name. I can click right into it. And again, this is the customer service reps are going to be doing this piece right now. So right now it has this activity here for install. So they're going to edit this page, this project. And I'm going to take off, just because this one was imported from Service CEO, I'm going to take off the schedule information right now. If this was a masonry job, we would assign it to market, so Indy, and then division that's going to be doing the work, masonry. So now technically this job is PO'd. They can go in, they can actually go back to the sale, which I'm going to right click and open in a new tab. You can see up here, I'll close a couple of these other ones, but up here at the top, this is our project, this is our sale. I can leave our project open and open this sale in a new tab. And then we can print our production packet, all the information that goes into our folder, and then they can hand that folder off to the production teams. So then, once you guys set a schedule date for that job, you would come in, find the project. You can search by project number. It has the old Service CEO job number. You can put it up here, hit search, and it would pull it up. But you would basically come into this project. You'll know you're in the project because it's got the little hammer symbol. You can edit that project. And this is where we're going to set all of our schedule information. So we can set the project manager, or the supervisor, the installation crew who's installing it, and then down below we'll put when we're doing the job, the start and end date. So I'm just going to say that Judd is the project manager. I'll put vendor as the installation crew. Judd and Ryan are doing this job. And I'm going to say that this job is going, say today, so that shows up on our pipeline, or our playbook for today. So then I put the start date in. You could set an end date if it's a one-day job. Just make sure that then you have a start time and end time. If you have it start and end at 8 a.m., it's not going to show on the calendar. Make sure you give it a little bit of time. So say that Ryan and I are pretty quick. We'll get this one done in just a couple hours. Then we can save that job. So now if we go to our staff calendar, and again, we want to look at Indianapolis. We want to look at the masonry jobs. You can see Indy Masonry has actually put all of their projects that are going today on here. And then we also have this 8 to 10 for Kelly Harvey right here. So the one that we just added. Now at this point, say it rained today, we couldn't do it. From this staff calendar, I can actually just drag this job to tomorrow. And that will just put it on tomorrow's schedule. From here, I can also click on this job, and it'll take us right back in to our install activity. So again, this is, if I go back up to our hammer, which is our project, down here is our activity for the install. So now we can see that it's scheduled for the 14th, not today, but tomorrow, because I dragged it from today onto tomorrow's schedule. So from a glance, you can see all the jobs just based on the calendar, but this obviously wouldn't be a very clean view if we were trying to see everything together. So then we can hit this Reports tab, and over on the left-hand side there's a folder called Bone Dry Reports, and inside that is a playbook report. So from there, you can see this date field is based on the start time. And right now we have it filtering for today. So this is showing me everything company-wide by market segment, which is by market, then by sub-account, which is going to be the division, Cincinnati Masonry. They've got 2 jobs going today. On this one, they set their project manager and they set their installation crew. I'm assuming that for this one, they probably didn't have a project manager. Same thing for this one, for the gutter job. And then down here on their roofs, you see they've got 2 roofs going today. Abraham's doing both of them, different supervisor for each job. You can, if you just want to see yours, check the box off to the side and click at the very bottom, drill down. And now this is just going to show me Indianapolis, since Indianapolis is the only one that I clicked on. But now you can share this out. We're going to set this up so that it automatically goes out at 10 a.m. every morning, company-wide. But if you want to share it, in the morning, say you've got some roofs starting and you want your sales reps to know that their job's starting, you can go ahead and just share out your local roofing playbook by drilling down. Then you can hit export details or printable view, and that's going to download it into a file that you can then send out. So now we see this kind of clean Excel sheet that we can then email out to everybody. So that's our playbook. So then your pipeline is essentially going to be all of those jobs that are underneath your projects tab that need to be PO'd, and underneath your needs scheduled tab. So if I drill back into the Indianapolis office, we have repairs needing scheduled, and we have repairs needing PO. So the combination of those two are going to be your pipeline. Now, to be able to get a quick, round number of what's in your pipeline, if you go to reports, again, over on the left-hand side, there's this accounts receivable bucket. If you go to all sales with outstanding balance, this is going to show you everything. So canceled, these are in Bone Dry's history. We have sold $21 million worth of work that is then canceled. Now that may be because we made a mistake and PO'd it before it was actually sold. Maybe it was insurance and it got denied. Maybe it was the customer signed, but then they got denied for financing. Whatever the case may be, it ended up canceling. We're not too worried about that number. These are the ones that we're concerned with. So this status of working means that we are working this job, this sale. Status of net means that we're done, but they still owe us money. So working is our pipeline, net is our accounts receivable. So we can click on the working tab, and then if you want to drill down, you can choose any one of these fields to drill down by. So if we choose the sub-account pick list, which is how we tell the system what division gets the revenue, we can then drill down on the working, which is basically show me my playbook or my pipeline by sub-account pick list, which is division. Now we can see a record of how many jobs and how much each one of those jobs is. There's a sold price column and there's a balance due column. For the pipeline report, those are largely going to be the same unless we end up getting some sort of down payment, or maybe they pay one check when we finish their roof and we apply part of it to their gutter job that hasn't been completed yet. Then we'll technically have a sold price that's more than what the balance due is because they've prepaid us. Once you get in here, again, you can check off. If I was looking at Fort Wayne, you can say, okay, I want to drill down just the Fort Wayne jobs. Drill down, now I see those. Up at the top, I can hit show details, and it's going to show me all the information about each one of those jobs that makes up their playbook. So by market, by trade, so the multi-trade division has 14 records for 30,576. The repair division has 10 records for 12,000. And Fort Wayne Roofing has 13 for 137. So that is then our pipeline for each division. All right, and then our next one would be our AR. So if we go again to reports, over on the left-hand side, we have accounts receivable. So the sales reps, I'll show you how they can do theirs real quick. And then I'll show you by sub-account, which again is division, how you guys would probably more than likely be pulling yours. But if I do AR by sales rep real quick, it's going to show all of those jobs that are in that net status. Status equals net, and the balance due is not equal to 0. So everybody that owes us money, but their job is completed, and then it's going to categorize it or group it by sales rep. So I know Emma's been in here. If I'm Emma, I can check that off. Come down to the bottom. I can drill down. I don't have to choose anything to group it by because I just want it to be grouped by Emma. Once I drill down to just mine, I can hit the Show Details button. This then shows me my 5 AR accounts, or like 6, 5 AR accounts. And you see this AR notes field over here off to the right. I can literally, if I'm Emma and David Schaefer's repair job, I have a note. I can click on this link to go into this sale. But if I do that, I'm going to leave my reports tab. So if I right click and I open it in a new tab, it opens it up top here. Now I'm back in this sale. So the handshake is the sale. This is the revenue. You see here that it's in the net status. Here's the sale items, what they sold. But as the sales rep, if I hit edit, in this information block down here in the bottom right, there's a field called AR notes. So if I'm Emma, I say, texted, will pay on, say, 8/15. And then save that. So what that does is now it updates this field, AR notes, with that information. Down at the bottom of this sale, it tracks all the changes that are made. So you can see over the entire lifetime of this sale, all the changes that were made. And if we come up here to today, at 11/26/03, user Judd Hay changed the AR notes to texted will pay 8/15. So it's going to save the record of who created that AR note, when they did it, and what the AR note said. And if I go back to my report, now it doesn't show right now because I ran this report before I created that note. If I come up to the top left here and I hit run report, it'll just refresh my view, and now my AR note that I just created shows up for David Schaefer right here. So that's how easy it is for the sales reps to go in, pull their AR report, enter an updated AR note onto the job, or on the sale rather, to create a note for everybody else as to what's going on with that outstanding balance. So I'm going to leave that one on there for now, because now I'll show you how a division manager can go in and pull their division's AR to be able to check and see what has and hasn't been updated. So if I go back to, again, reports, I click on the reports tab. Your recent reports will show up here. So you can see that I've pulled up the AR by sub-account recently, but for everybody that hasn't, they can go to the accounts receivable folder on the left, AR by sub-account, and again, it shows by the sub-account, which is insert the CEO, the company profile, shows the AR. You can click Show Details from here, and it will show you every single record for every single division. But again, if I hide those details, the first step is going to be to check the division you want to see. So Indianapolis Repairs, drill down to that division. Now that I've only got that division, now if I show details, it's only going to show me the 121 records I want to see. So you can see, looks like Adam Miller put in an AR note here for this one. Chad Buck put in a note on his. Here's Emma's customer, David Schaefer, that we put in the note on. But we see the exact same notes from our department AR report as what the sales reps see from their report and they enter. So say I'm Sam Mossbaum, the repair division manager, and I made a follow-up to David as well. Again, I can click right here and it's going to take me away from my report into David. Or if I right-click, open new tab, up at the top it takes me into this sale. I edit this sale and I can either change what she said or I can just go down to the next line and say, spoke with David, picking up check 814. Save that. Down at the bottom, it's going to mention that I changed AR notes from texted will pay 815. That's what was there before. To texted will pay 815. Spoke with David, picking up check on 814. So it flags exactly what I did, the fact that it was me, and the time I did it. So we have that historical record of the AR notes, what's on there. And again, when I go back, rerun my report, it now has the updated notes that I put in as quote-unquote Sam Mossbaum. So about as easy as we can make it. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to delete out those AR notes so that Emma can actually call her customer. You can also click on this little diagonal line to the bottom right and make this box bigger. It's a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to delete those, save it. The great thing is when I scroll down to the bottom, it's going to say that I deleted that. So again, it tracks any changes to that AR notes field. And then if I rerun this report, those notes are gone. David Schaefer. So now those notes are gone since I deleted them. But that's how we can then run the AR report. We can enter notes. You guys can enter notes as the division managers or production managers. The sales reps can enter notes in the same spot as the sales reps. But there's no more separate borrowing base report, separate Google Drive, weekly AR report that they have to enter notes in. It's all just right here in the system. So we will go ahead and set it up so that there is a copy of this that gets emailed out, so that it doesn't just get lost by certain sales reps. We'll make sure that it's still in front of their faces and top of mind and they have their attention on it, but they won't have to enter their notes into that version. Again, if you look at this printable view, it will create an Excel version, but it will be important for them not to just go in here and type notes into this Excel document or to try and put this in Google Drive and type notes into it. and need to make sure they're putting the notes in Improve It 360 in the AR notes field. Otherwise, nobody else has access to it, and it just creates a bunch of extra work. So I know we went through all that really quickly. Left some time for questions, and we will be creating, Ryan's done step-by-step user manuals for sales, for office managers, customer service reps. We'll also have one that goes through exactly how to schedule the jobs, assign the production managers, assign the crews, so that we'll be able to disseminate that to you guys, and you guys can go ahead and reference that as you need. Pulling the AR report, entering the AR notes, all that stuff will get added to the user manual with step-by-step instructions and pictures and everything like that. So, does anybody have any questions? I'm sure there's probably a couple folks that don't have their accounts set up and logged in yet. If there is, send us a message and we can get you set up. But while we got the whole group on the call, are there any questions